Hi, babe. How are you?
Hello, my name is Alexandra Winge-Mihai, and we are a part of the Living with Intention podcast. Should I just speak with my presentation?
I think you're fine if you're just yourself.
my microphone presenter voice,
No.
like when I used to do the shows and be like, "Hi, everybody, welcome." I just banged the mic.
Yeah, you did.
To I will not name where I used to work. I don't know if that's allowed. Several places. We hope we're gonna have a great time today. We're gonna be learning about some sea lions and seals. Okay.
That's fine. But, I mean, so you already said your name.
I'm Alex.
Yeah. You're my lovely wife, aren't you?
I am. Tell them how long we've been together.
7 years.
Well, 7 years married.
Yeah, 7 years married. We've known each other for 11? Did I get that right? I'm kind of just...
We've been together 13 years, I think.
Has it been that long?
Before we were we were together 13, and then we were friends before that for only a year and a half, so not that long.
Yeah. We should get into that at some point.
Okay.
But I'd like to actually start a little bit...
I did bang the mic and move it. I don't know if that's going to ruin things.
It should be fine.
Okay.
Was that me or you?
That was me.
Good. Doing well.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's a learning curve. Mm-hmm. So...
Maybe you should talk about how this is the first podcast
Yeah.
you or I are ever recording.
First time using these mics, first time using those headphones, first time being in this setup.
It's so cool.
It's exciting.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Even if no one ever listens to this, I like to talk.
It'll be worth it. And what I've been saying is it'll be good to look back on this a few years from now and see how much we've grown, especially over the course of this conversation, see if the things that we're talking about now in terms of goals and, life goals, and, compare ourselves to 5 years ago, which is today.
Oh, we could. You know how Billie Eilish does an every year interview for the last 10 years?
Nope.
No, of course you don't, because you don't know anything
I don't do
about
pop culture.
Yeah, I know. She does it with Vogue or something, which shout out to them, super cool idea, but we could do something like that where it's every August 9th. We're recording this August 9th, 2025, by the way.
Great.
We can do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down.
That'd be cool.
For sure. That's kind of one of the whole purposes of doing this.
Yeah. Also, I apologize to whoever's listening. I have a really high-pitched voice, but that's just who I am.
No, your voice is lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
He has to say that. He's my husband. But
And
I love
have
words of affirmation, so he's doing a good job.
So why don't we start off just with a basis of where you are today?
Yeah.
So I guess, who are you? What do you do for work?
I hate the question, who are you?
Yeah, I know, me too. But
that's what you ask. I am female.
it's a good start.
I am girl.
Very good. Same thing.
Yeah. Who am I? So my name is Alex. I go by Alex, full name Alexandra. If you can hear the Spanish accent, if you could tell it apart, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, though my parents aren't Puerto Ricanos at all.
Do you want to circle back to that? Because I think the audience should know the story about your parents. Because it's interesting.
They have such a beautiful story. I love talking about their story. So my parents are actually from Europe. My mom is from England. My dad is from Romania, and they met in Spain. He used to be a professional gymnast. My mom was a professional dancer, and they worked in a hotel setting of being performers. And they got married, and my dad had a contract in Puerto Rico to do a show with the company from Spain that he was working with at the time. And he met someone, and they're like, "Hey, you want to train the girls' national gymnastics team?" And him and my mom said, "Yes, we'll move to Puerto Rico." And he did that for 10 years, and I came along at some point in those 10 years, and he's really good at what he does. They went to Pan American Games and got third place as a team, which had never happened before. And then they opened up their own business, a very famous gymnastics school in Puerto Rico called Mihai Gymnastics Academy, which is still there. And then, I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you didn't follow in your parents' footsteps in becoming a gymnast.
I did not. I mean, I did become a gymnast. I did competitive gymnastics for 5 years, and I was good for Puerto Rico, I guess. But I definitely didn't follow in being a business owner and training gymnasts, even though I am a coach. So
Yeah, so what do you do now?
what do I do now? I am an assistant manager at a doggy daycare in our local area. I love animals so much.
That's an understatement.
We have 3 pets and I want more and he doesn't. So it's a constant debate. Yeah. So at a very, very young age, 3 years old to be exact, I knew I wanted to work with animals. And this is a sensitive topic, I understand, which maybe one day we could get into it, but I really wanted to be a marine mammal trainer. Like I went to SeaWorld at 3 years old, saw a dolphin show, and mom had said I stood up and was like, I want to do that. And it stuck. Like I never not wanted to do that for the rest of my life. There was like a snippet of time where I wanted to be a vet, and then that just, nah. Though vets are amazing, but not for me, the medical like side of studying and everything.
Sure.
And I worked towards that. And I became a marine mammal trainer and then a zookeeper and then decided to leave that field. And now I'm continuing to work with animals. And I worked at doggy daycares before having this job. I actually used to work where I work again now. And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
They're so much better than people. I love people though, but I do love animals as well.
I mean, you got a fascinating story in terms of all the places that you've worked and the careers you've worked. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying where you've worked.
Yeah. So I decided I wanted to do that. And then every time I'd go to like SeaWorld or something like that, I'd ask like, how can I become a trainer? How can I do what you do? And ironically enough, Puerto Rico doesn't have anything like that still to this day. And you would think it would because it's an island. Cruise ships go there. You know, it's a popular travel destination and we don't have anything like that. So I knew I had to leave Puerto Rico to do that. And I always knew I wanted to go to college in the States. Like I always kind of related more with the States. So found out how I could do that. So started applying to internships when I was going to be 20. So my sophomore year of college, I was 19. I didn't get any of them.
No.
It was very humbling. I applied to a bunch, but I did get one. And it was at Clearwater Marine Aquarium in Clearwater, Florida. And it was in the hospitality department. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take it because I'm going to be in the aquarium field and I could volunteer in the mammal department maybe at least once a week or something. And I think everything happens for a reason. And that really taught me so much about guest service and public speaking and stuff like that, even though I did theater already. But that was a lot of fun. And Dan has come and visited me every single place that besides Bermuda.
Oh, yeah, that was...
Yeah. You weren't able to come there.
Kind of wish I could have gone to visit that one. That would have been cool.
Would have been really cool. So yeah, so I did that. And then my second internship was at a company called Oceans of Fun, which they're now called Ocean Connections in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And was my first internship like as a marine mammal training intern. And then I did my third internship in Bermuda. Oh, it was one of my best years. That was 10 years ago, literally.
Honestly, it feels like longer.
Does it?
Yeah.
Wow. All of these internships were in the summertime also because I would do school and then I would internship. But 2015 was the year that we graduated. So did that internship and then decided to move. Well, we decided that, eventually he'd come join me, but I'd move down to Florida. And that's where I had my fourth internship at Marineland Dolphin Adventure. And then life took a turn, which I'm sure we'll get into at some point. Then I got back into the field and I got my first job with Oceans of Fun, again, now Ocean Connection, back at Hershey, PA, where I had interned. And I would go and volunteer there like twice a year, maybe even once a year, and kept my relationships with the trainers there, which really helped me. So when a position opened, they were like, hey, do you want to apply? We want you to apply. Wink, wink. And I was like, heck yeah.
So that was your first real paid job.
Yes, I was officially a marine mammal trainer working with seals and sea lions, which I wanted to work with dolphins my entire life. And I still wanted dolphins, but when I got the job, I was like, I'm going to take it. And I fell in love with them. I love them a little bit more than dolphins now.
Ooh, controversial. How come?
It's a whole different ball game that they can get out of the water and chase you. Safety. And it's like a whole different type of relationships. And if I was like offered a job and it was the right decision for us to take that job to work with dolphins, I would have. That I still love them as much, but like they're just like, it was just a whole different level getting to learn about a new species and like interact with them and everything. So did that for about a year, then had to leave the field, then was able to come back. And my second professional job was at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey, which was there for about 3.5 years. And I worked with sea lions again, which was one of the main reasons why I went there. I wanted to make sure I got marine mammals again. But they also had so many other animals, which I didn't think I'd ever get to work with. So I wanted to say we should have prayed before we started the podcast. I was going to say we should do that. We're Christian as well.
We can do that now.
Catholics, by the way. Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a pause.
Sure.
You should lead us.
Okay.
In the name of the Father.
I thought I was leading.
I do this all the time.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Come, Holy Spirit, and fill this space. Guide our hearts and minds and our words so that we can have a conversation that is heartfelt, genuine, and authentic, so that we can relay any messages that you want us to relay out to each other, to our future selves, and to anyone else who might be viewing. All this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
If you haven't picked up on it, the peoples have ADHD, so sometimes things sporadically come to mind. Okay, where were we? So yeah, Six Flags. That was, so I got to work with parrots, being one of the many species, and I've always wanted to work with birds too, and it was great. I love them.
You would come home all the time, mostly with bird stories.
Yeah. Yeah, because talking about an animal that has personality, birds have personalities, and they bite.
Yeah. And they live so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't want one.
And that's one of the many reasons why you don't want one. Also, the other fact being that it'd be just as loud as me, if not louder. So what other animals? We had goats. We had tortoises. We had ferrets. We had cheetahs. A pig. Rue Pig. I love her. She passed away. Older girl. So many reptiles, like bearded dragons, spiders, cockroaches, lizards. I already say lizards. What else? Quadrumundis. Those were really cool. They're the South American version of a raccoon. I was going to say squirrel, not squirrel. If you've ever seen Encanto, they're in there when they go into what's his name's room. They're like they look like raccoons with the tails with the pointy noses. They're an Encanto.
Not to be confused with the capybaras.
Not to be confused with a capybara. Yes, that is correct. We did not have those, though. My coworker, love her to death, Becky, insisted on just taking all the animals away and just having every single capybara possible. It'd just be a capybara facility. I'm trying to think of what else. For Six Flags Great Adventure and a safari, actually, there was a whole safari park right next to the park. So we were part of the safari team, but we didn't work in the safari. We were in the theme park. So we were with the guest in that capacity. Had something called the Wild Walkway where people would walk by and it was like a little zoo, and we would do presentations and training sessions. And there's so much more to being a trainer, animal keeper, zookeeper than just training the animals. That's like 10% of the job, and 80% is like literally cleaning, record keeping, and more cleaning.
And lots of, I remember you would have your hands in fish like every day.
Mm-hmm. I loved it though. I miss fish prep so much.
I don't believe you.
I do. It was so much. I got really good at it too. Like when you get really good, you can do it really fast. And it was just, it just never grossed me out. I don't know. Some people did. We'd have like the interns come in and they'd be like, and I was like, if you want to work with these animals, you got to get used to this. But what I was trying to say about the safari was that we had so many other animals in the safari. And my first year there is actually COVID time. So I was furloughed for a little bit and we came back and we were allowed to like start working again. And the park was going to be opening up under the COVID restrictions. And since I was the bottom of the food chain, literally, I had to gate guard all the time. So gate guarding was literally being stationed at the different gates in the different safaris. sections because we went back to self-driving. So they used to do self-driving tours all the time, and then they changed that back in like 2013, I think they said. Well, in 2020, we couldn't do that anymore because it was COVID time. So they changed it back to that. And, you had to be at the gate making sure like people were following rules, like keeping the gate open or closed if like animals were going to cross. And like a lot of people didn't like that, but I loved it. I could entertain myself because I'm an only child, fun fact. So, and it was busy because it was like one of the only things to do in the area or like the state of New Jersey. Yeah, and got to be surrounded by so many animals. Almost got attacked by an ostrich one time. I'm being a little dramatic about that. I saw him coming from like far away and I was like, I got to get up on my high security tower because I've heard stories about this ostrich or the dang deer. Was it the deer? It's not the deer, the zebras.
Oh, I've heard about zebras.
They
being vicious.
loved, not even vicious, just like, I'm not going to follow the rules and I'm just going to just start trying to cross sections, which they couldn't cross sections. So then you have to like stop the cars, close the gates really quickly, call on the walkie, like, hey, whatever was like the wardens, the safari keepers were called, like, we need you to come and like get the, like encourage these zebras to go somewhere else. But yeah, we had so many animals there too. Elephants, rhinos, zebras, brown bears, black bears, giraffes, rheas, the very, very, very rare white-tailed deer and geese. Yeah, those geese thought they were part of the safari.
So, on the off chance that there's anybody watching this who's interested in pursuing a similar career, how can they get into the field and what should they expect, like realistically, from being in the field?
Yeah, so the standard question or answer to that is internships is the way in. A lot of people say you should get a degree, which is important. Yes, a lot of their internships require a degree typically, but the biggest thing is you need to get an internship and start building connections and start really learning what it takes to be a professional animal keeper, animal trainer. Because again, a lot of people think it's something and it's so much more than that. And the same with the doggy daycare facility that I work at. Everyone wants to work and play with the dogs, which yeah, you get to play with the dogs, but it's pretty much exactly the same as what I used to do, which is why I love it so much as well, except I'm just not as involved anymore because a manager, you do other stuff, but
now you got to deal with the people.
Yeah. I love people. I do. I joke. But it's nice to get to work primarily with animals. But internships are really important because you're learning. You're figuring out, is this for you? Is this not? Obviously, you have to have a love for animals. Like, if you don't have a love for animals, like, you're going to get so drained and you're not going to have patience. Having really good patience is really important as well because you have to learn how to communicate with animals who don't communicate the same way as humans do. Start at a young age, too. Like, if you're really interested in this, and usually a lot of the times it is people at a young age, start learning about animals, going to zoos, going to places, talking to people, asking questions, volunteering at dog shelters once you're like 16 is usually the age. And any way that you can start getting animal experience is really beneficial. Public speaking is also a really big part of this field, especially if you go into like the public side of like training and shows and presentations. So getting really good at that as well. That's where theater came in. I had no problem getting in front of a big crowd and speaking. It was really nervous at first, but it wasn't like, I can't do this. It's really helpful as well. Yeah.
Good.
And also figuring out, there's so much in that field too. Like, I was very focused on, I want to be a trainer. I want to do like shows and guest interactions, but there's also like rehabilitation side of it. There's the research side of it. So, kind of getting your foot wet in the water. International Marine Animal Trainers Association is a website or a group of professional marine mammal trainers that you can join. You do have to pay for it yearly, but there's different levels of it. That's a really good, helpful resource.
Sorry, can you just say that again? What's it called?
International Marine Animal Trainers Association.
Okay.
IMATA. AZA, the Association of Zoological something. What does it stand for? I'm
American
blanking.
Zoological Association?
Yes, maybe. Then there's ZAC, which is like the Zoological Association of something, or like ZAA. Like, there's like different groups like that. Is also you can like start looking into, and yeah, reading books. I can talk forever, so hopefully you found something.
Yeah.
I also do really well with like one-on-one. I can like guide that person. Okay.
So what you're saying is, if someone is young and interested, they can reach out?
Sure.
Maybe we'll figure out some way, if that does happen, to put some contact information.
If this ever becomes a thing.
Yeah. If more than just you and I are the ones listening to this.
Yeah. But again, like if you go to a zoo or an aquarium, like just talk to the trainers, the keepers, you know, they're always really happy to talk as well, and start building connections that way too. You know, like there was a girl at CMA who like visited every summer. She was from Massachusetts and in Florida. She would do like the summer camps there, and like she built close relationships with the trainers before when she was in middle school and high school, so she couldn't even apply. But like when she went to apply, like they knew who she was, and they're like, we're gonna hire her because we know her too. Like that's a big thing as well.
Sure. I like to rewind the clock back. So we've spent a lot of time here talking about work and professionalism.
Yeah.
Let's go back to childhood, back to when you were a kid.
Yay.
Growing up, living in Puerto Rico, what values and principles did you see in your childhood, either in the culture or the culture that your parents brought from abroad?
Well, definitely the culture of Puerto Rico and pretty much like any Latinos is very hospitable and welcoming, which I think has become a part of me. I am the one in this relationship, especially since we have a house now, where I'm just like, yeah, you can come live with us. Yeah, you could come here. Yeah, just show up. It's fine. And that's very much like the culture is, like you meet someone and you're like, you're part of the family. So I think I've definitely have taken that in. And he's Latino too, by the way.
Half Latino.
Yeah, but like actually more than me. Like you're actually blood Latino. His mom is from Ecuador. So, you know, he grew up with that too to an extent, but you were in the States, so it's a little bit different. That was probably a big thing. It's very lax, which I like to an extent. We were always the people that were on time, because in Puerto Rican Latino time, if a party starts at 2, you get there at 5. I'm not joking. So that was definitely different. It's a tropical island where there's no seasons. Like our winter is 80 degrees during the day and maybe 82, 83, and it's lovely.
You mentioned one of the greatest values necessary to work the field of marine mammal training and presentations and stuff like that was patience. Mm-hmm. Was patience, for example, specifically, a value that was instilled to you as a kid?
No. I mean, yes, in the sense of you're taught to be patient, but kids learn from what your parents model. Mm-hmm. And my mom did not have good patience. So I definitely, as a kid, was much more, I had no patience. I was an only child, like I said, so if it wasn't my way, it was the end of the world to start, which is quite normal for a young kid, especially as an only child. And just getting like easily frustrated, like my mom would get over things, so that translated to me. So like I would get really easily frustrated, and I was always a natural born leader. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like, I like to take charge, or I just like to do things. So I remember leading our school's missionary group for quite several years, but my last year, senior year, I was the president, and I had a really good relationship with everyone. But like at one point, someone was like, "So people are scared to come back or come to the meetings because you're a little like too strict," and I was like, "Oh, well." They kind of deserved it, though, which, like, they did. Like, it's Puerto Rico, they're kids, you know? Like, if a meeting starts at 3 o'clock, I don't want you showing up at 3:30 when the meeting's over at 4, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, but I definitely would get, like, 0 to 100, like, really quickly and yell and be like, ah, which I, like, that's not me anymore. But, yeah, I guess that was instilled, but it wasn't practiced at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I was a competitive gymnast, and there was a lot of patience in that aspect, you know, of coming in not knowing anything and not having any talent. Like some kids are naturally born with talent of certain things. I did not have any talent for gymnastics whatsoever. Like it was a shock for the island when I became I kind of jokingly say island, but like kind of, because like it is a small island, and like our portion of the island, everyone knew each other in the gymnastics community because it's so small. So like they're like, oh my goodness, Mihai's daughter is like doing gymnastics now. But my coach had faith in me, and I worked my ass off. So I guess there was like patience in that too.
Would you say that building up patience then was something that happened? Can you pinpoint when that started?
Yes.
And was it an intentional journey, or did
Yes.
it just kind of happen?
No, it was intentional, and it was with you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You taught me a lot. So coming into college, that's when we had met. I still was very much how I used to be, which wasn't a bad thing. I just decided that I wanted to evolve and become like a better person for myself and for others, because it wasn't healthy. Like the way I would like switch between emotions and patience and stuff. And I was in a relationship, pretty like my first serious relationship before you, and like that ended up not being healthy emotionally or mentally. He's shaking his head because he knew him. They're still friends to this day. No hate towards the guy, by the way. And
You were, by the way, side note, you were very mature about your relationships too.
oh, thanks.
As well as in, even after you broke up, you still made attempts to reconnect at a low friendship level, and in this case, it wasn't necessarily reciprocated, but
Well, it kind of
it's-
was, but just because we were in the same friend group. But yeah.
yeah. But I think it does show a level of maturity. You know, you see so many memes and things on the internet where it's like, oh yeah, my ex, blah 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 blah, worst person on earth, probably some sort of demon in disguise. It's like,
Well, I was also fortunate to have really good like exes too. But yeah, thank you. My mom did teach me that, it was kind of like, just because you're not dating anymore doesn't mean you can't be friends, which now as I got older, like I understand that some people can't do that.
sure.
Completely fine. You need to cut the ties and that's it. But like, if you can reach a level of maturity, acceptance, like friendship or cordialness, whatever that word is, like it's good because you're with a person for an extended period of time. You develop a relationship, you develop feelings, you learn about this person. Like you generally care about each other at one point. So like, I never stopped caring about them. But it was very tumultuous. Lots of yelling and things like that, which is the environment I grew up in as well. And then I met you, and ever since I've known you, you were never like that. Like, you don't yell. Like, I've heard this kid yell. He's not a kid, but I've heard this person yell one time in the 15 years we've known each other. And that was for like, there was a fight happening outside the apartment we used to live in, and it was getting serious. And you were like, hey. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, basically just seeing how you handled things and your patience really taught me I can have control over my own emotions. And when I started applying that, the summer of 2025, my summer in Bermuda was life-changing, literally.
2015.
It's 2025 right now. I don't do math. 2015 was life-changing for me. Like, I went into that internship being like, I'm going to apply the things that I want to change in me. And it did me well. Like, I still have relationships with all those people. It was a great summer. Like, there was rocky things between my roommates. There were 6 girls and 2 boys I didn't live with, but there was a total of 8 of us. 6 girls living in a 2-bedroom house. Get tough. It was pretty spacious, though, fortunately. But, like, there were some things in between other people, and I was always the liked one, which hasn't always happened in life. So yeah, that was, and then I just kind of grew from that, and it's so much better. Oh my gosh, it's so much better. I feel like I have like more clarity and peace, and just like I can control how I feel. Okay.
I mean, we both definitely took certain values from each other and certain personality traits from each other. Mm-hmm. Since you've known me, you've definitely calmed down quite a bit.
Yeah.
You were.
I think that's a bit with age too, but yeah.
Sure. But
Yeah.
I mean, you were rambunctious.
That's a nice way to put it.
But you were also the glue of all of our friendship groups.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I suppose if you're imagining like a tree of all these people who know each other and are friends, they say, what is it, like 5 degrees of separation between people, whatever the number is. I feel like you're that base person that a lot of people have in common.
Oh.
Because you're constantly the person who's like, hey, do you want to come over? Like you said, house is always open. Do you need a place to live?
Yeah. Which we have had 2 people stay with us
We
since
have,
owning
since we
this
bought
house.
this
for
house like a year ago.
Rent-free, by the way, might I add.
Okay.
And that I want to be humble. That's just certain situations. But yeah, you've always said that, and always try to be like humble. But I've with my relationship with God, one of the things I've learned is He's given me the gift of really being able to be empathetic and connect with people
For sure.
on a easier, deeper level than like a lot of people can do.
Yeah. And that's definitely rubbed off on me over the years. I am,
So much
I am-
more social.
like,
For
by
you.
comparison, I
Yeah.
am way more social now
Like
than I
the
was.
fact that he told me I want to do a podcast, I was like, what? You?
That's how I feel. Me? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also I wasn't like you in the sense of like you can't do it. I was like, you absolutely could do it because this man, when you get to know him, he's just incredible.
Aw,
Like I
thanks.
love him so. Like I truly do love him so much. Like we've been married for 7 years together for 13. Like we're not losing each other unless heaven forbid there's death. But everyone who knows you and who has a relationship with you admires you so much. Because even though you're not social, you are intentional with your thoughts and what you say, the conversations you have, the relationships you want to build. So I knew you'd also be good at this once you opened up.
Yeah. Thank you. That's very sweet.
I love you.
I love you too. But you didn't at first.
I did not. That was a great segue. And I have to say this. I'm like copying another podcast. I don't think it doesn't exist anymore, but it was the Wild to Nine podcast by Lauren Riamaki and Jeremy, I forget his name, but they're married now. Big YouTuber, Lori DIY. She learned in her podcast that segue was spelled as Segu. So she always pronounced it as Segu. So they would always say, great Segu. So I can't get that out of my head. But I don't want to like copyright or steal it from them. I just think it's funny. Because that would have been me. That is me. Like if I would have seen, I didn't know segue was spelled like that. I don't think I've ever seen the word segue technically. I just knew about the thing.
Uh-huh.
And then like, yeah. So I would have definitely pronounced it Segu as well.
Is this how your brain typically works?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, focus.
No, it's fine. It's fun.
Yeah. So you didn't always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to tell the people a little bit about that?
Do you want to start it or do you want me to start it? Because it kind of starts with.
I guess
No,
it does.
I guess.
It does start with me initially.
Well, no, I'll start it. I can start it because
Very
we
well.
should start it the way we like always.
Yes,
start it.
dear.
Yes, dear. Life is always right. Happy wife, happy life.
I before E except after C or when sounding like A or in about 100 other situations. Sorry, I thought we were just giving the advice we both got at our wedding.
You got that at the wedding?
Yeah, remember?
No,
Happy wife, happy life, and I before E except after C.
no.
And don't worry about it.
I
It-
kind of do.
It's an inside joke that apparently I'm the only one in on.
Or I just don't remember. Which usually you're not. You're the one that doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I gonna go with?
Our story.
No, by the way, like happy wife, happy life, yes, is true, and I jokingly say that and like partly believe in it, but like also it's a mutual relationship thing. I want to clarify that.
Of course.
It was the summer of 2011, July to be specific, my birthday month. We both happened to go to the same freshman orientation that they were doing throughout the summer. Me and this girl, they're like, we had all of our meetings and our like icebreakers and all that stuff. And then it was like free for all. And they had like different social events going on. So me and this random girl that I just started talking to and was becoming friends with for the day, we're like, okay, let's go here. You know, they've got free food and whatnot. So we're going in and we see a table of boys. So we sat down. I sat directly across from you. And we're introducing each other like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and we're from, where are you? Because, you know, it's freshman orientation. So, of course, I'm like, my name is Alex, and I'm from Puerto Rico. And you, like, immediately kind of gave, like, oh. And you're like, oh, Puerto Rico, do you speak Spanish? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, well, my mom's from Ecuador. And I was like, well, do you speak Spanish as well? And he says, yeah. And I just go off on him. I will reenact it. Ay, qué bueno que tú hablas español. Yo puedo hablar español contigo. Podemos ser amigos. And it just like kept going. And it was like, blah, 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 blah. And I see him go. And I stop and I go, too much, too fast? And he's like, not that good. And I said, okay, I'll just speak English. So we kept speaking English. We were probably there for like half an hour, and then the group naturally dispersed, and that was it. I didn't think I'd see you ever again.
Same. And for the record, I understand you now,
You do.
but I didn't understand the Puerto Rican initially.
Yeah. Puerto Rican and Ecuadorian Spanish is very, very
different.
different. So yeah, I didn't think I'd see you again. And then I had also joined the graduating class of 2015 Facebook group when Facebook was still like a thing. I still use it. I feel old now. And was just connecting and meeting with people. And there's this one guy that I had met, and we were like chatting, and he was living in the new dorms. That year they had opened the new dorms, and it was the first suite-like dorm. Mm-hmm. And I was living in the building like across, like my window, I could literally see the dorm room. So, we were moving in, we get moved in, we settle, the parents are leave. I'm with my roommate, and we're like, let's go see this new dorm. And I like messaged the guy. I'm like, I'm coming over. And we could easily walk in because it's move-in day. Didn't need a card or anything. So we walk in, we go to the floor, we get into the room. I literally step into the living area. You step out of your room. We both stand and look at each other, point, and say, I know you. And he says, I know you. And then there's so much more to that. But
that's how it all started?
That's how it all started.
Yeah.
You want to tell your end of it?
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to add other than I pretty much had a crush on you immediately.
Yeah.
I don't...
Benounced to be for quite a few weeks. Maybe a few days. Anyways. Unbeknownst. Thought that was a dog growling. It's just a car. I was like, she's outside.
Yeah. So I had a crush on you immediately. And
like immediately, like from that night.
Like from that night, yeah. I introduced my mother to you the next day.
That's right. You did. I forgot about that. And she to this day says, I thought she was the biggest brat.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember.
My mom loves you now, though.
No, yes. It was a rocky relationship, though. But I just think that's funny. She was like, you were yelling at someone. I was like, I don't remember fighting with anyone. She was like, you were fighting with your parents. I'm like, I didn't have my parents there. I traveled on my own. I was with my roommate's parents, but I don't remember fighting. I would never have fought with them. Like, I'd known them for a whole 24 hours. My parents did not train me and not teach me that. I was probably just really loud and eccentric. But anyway, yeah. So she was like, I don't know how I feel about this girl.
Yeah. But I had the same mentality of, I'm never going to see you again. Like, this is just an infatuation. I got to get you out of my head.
Yeah.
And then
apparently you told your parents that like summer too, that you were like, oh, I like had a crush on her or something, or right? Did you tell them that?
I might have, but it wasn't significant at that point.
Yeah.
But then after we saw each other back in the dorm room and we pointed and we both said, I know you, everything changed from there because you were back in the deck.
Yeah. Yeah. It truly was meant to be. Like, to this day, we both say the reason why we were at that university was for us to meet. Obviously, a lot more came out of that, too. Like, really great friendship that are, like, family relationships now, too. But, like, the biggest reason is God wanted us together.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was Providence for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It was a school that wasn't even on your list. It was the bottom of my list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we ended up there.
No regrets.
No regrets. No regrets.
How could there be?
What's next?
Yeah, so let's talk about at what point...
I have to pee.
But let's take a break.
No, I'm okay. I just wanted to say that. But I kind of do have to pee, so it's like a warning that we might have to like take a pause. I'm okay.
Okay.
I'll drink more.
Good. That'll help.
I have to pee.
I have to pee.
All right, so let's move on. What big life goals do you have right now?
I want to be a mom. That's now in long term, which is not only a me thing, but an us thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to have our own kids, but if it's adoption, then just kids would probably be the biggest one. I want to say, I truly want to live healthily and feel fulfilled in what I'm doing, whether that is through work or just living life in a God-centered life. I kind of want to start my own company.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I am going to gatekeep a little bit, as the kids say.
Of course.
Because I do think it's a unique thing. It's animal related, obviously, but I kind of want to, but I don't have expectations for it. I just thought it might be like fun to do. And I really want to continue finding a healthy work-life balance because that's,
Yeah.
way back when at the beginning of the podcast when you're talking about like give advice on like how to become like a marine mammal trainer or stuff and like what are the pros and cons, like that's a big con. Like work-life balance is not a thing. Which somewhat rightfully so. It's like you're working in a hospital, you're taking care of a living thing 24/7, and the summertime specifically is your busy season because that's where everyone's traveling and things happen, and it depends again what side of the field, but yeah, just continuing to find like a healthy work-life balance, which I think,
When there's a natural disaster or some kind of phenomenon on, animals still need to be fed.
yeah, that's right. You sleep on site.
Yeah.
So also like having a spouse or family members that are super supportive is great too. But yeah, I would say those are big, and then just continuing to deepen our relationship, which I think we do every year. Yeah, and just live a life of purpose, meaningful purpose. Again, it doesn't have to necessarily be work, but am I feeling like I'm fulfilling what God wants me to do, and truly living life every day to the fullest and like intentionally and not letting it go to by.
All right. So let's touch on something. Let's start with health. From early in life to currently, what has your attitude been towards physical health? Have you been intentional about it? Have you not cared? Has it varied at certain points?
I've always been intentional about it. I grew up with a very athletic family in the sense of they were professional athletes in their own ways. Even though my mom was a dancer, like that is athletic. My dad was a gymnast. And so, we lived an active lifestyle growing up, especially when I was younger. And then they had a business that was all active. So it was very much instilled in me, like, you need to be healthy and like doing something.
I don't want to push back too much, but
Yeah.
I do feel like I need to push back here, though. As long as I knew your mother, she was not a reflection
Well,
of...
I was about to get to that
Okay.
actually. Yeah. So they always pushed and promoted that. And then especially because my mom became obese, and that's when she became like not active. Like she didn't, when I was younger, she was really thin. I'd actually never really remembered that. I'd seen it in videos. But like we were always doing stuff like every weekend as a family, going to the beach. We lived in Puerto Rico. We had that lifestyle when I was younger and exploring the island. She was active in that way. And then ever since like her health took a turn and she gained a bunch of weight, like her activity definitely changed. But because she went through that, she also was like with good intentions, but unhealthily put it on me of like your body image. You need to look healthy and be healthy internally. And I guess that translated, like I also like up to now, like I struggled with finding workouts, and I say obviously, you guys don't know me. I've gained weight over the years and have fluctuated a lot. And I've always liked to be active. I definitely struggled with finding a way to consistently do that, but like I do like being active. I also love being lazy on the couch. Don't get me wrong. That's a big difference between us two. I could lay on the couch all day and like watch TV or read, but like I do love having activity in my life as well.
Yeah.
Like I walked the dog this morning for an hour and then went for an hour cycling class.
Yeah, and you work out like pretty much every day.
I do now, yeah. So yeah, it's a big thing.
What about diet?
That's harder.
nutrition?
That's harder. That's hard. And again, it wasn't because I necessarily, you would think because my mom was obese that it was because of that, but it wasn't. I do think she ended up having like medical things that were never like diagnosed because it happened so quickly. So it probably could have been like a thyroid thing or like PCOS or something. But I still say to this day that I have a healthy relationship with food because despite of what I grew up hearing all the time from my mom, which was, you're not going to stay thin forever. You got to keep that thin and beautiful body, because she didn't want what happened to her to happen to me. Again, it was all out of good intentions and good heart, but it's going to affect me for the rest of my life. And
Sure.
I'm okay talking about this because I go to therapy weekly and it's fantastic, by the way. I promote therapy like 1,000%, but also was kind of raised to like shove down feelings. Even though I'm very good about like talking about them, but like truly connecting and feeling with them is a different level. So yeah, like you got to eat healthily, this and that. And I was always doing sports. And then when I was a competitive gymnast training like 20, 25 hours a week, my metabolism was like that, you know what I mean? So I can kind of eat whatever I wanted. But like my mom was like, you can only have McDonald's once a month, which I love McDonald's at the time. That was my favorite like junk food place. And I would do the thing where I was like, I want to have it this week and we're going to have it next week. And she's like, that's 2 weeks in a row. And I said, this is the end of the month and next week is the beginning of the month. And she was like, you're right.
Only child syndrome.
Yeah. She's like, but then you have to go for like 2 months without eating. I was like, that's fine by me. Anyway.
You probably found a way to weasel your way through the rules anyway.
Sometimes I did. Sometimes I would push her. But yeah. So, and like portion size definitely was a thing as well. But I love food so much. There are foodies and there are not foodies. Not a foodie, big foodie.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Let's talk about body dysmorphia. This is something that I think so many people have issues with, including both of us to varying levels on different days, depending on how we're feeling. Can you, I don't know, provide some perspective on how you felt? And even if you're still struggling with it, which
Yes.
I know you are.
Yeah. Just
because we live with each other.
yeah. I mean, just when I sat down here, I was like, I look fat. And you were like, you look beautiful, babe. And I was like, thank you. Yeah, I struggle with it. I'm always going to struggle with it because of my mom. So I was very, very thin growing up. I was like, people thought I was anorexic. They'd be like, are you okay? And I was like, and then they watch me eat and I wasn't bulimic or anything either. That is kind of a trigger warning. I'm sorry to say those words. So I was always very fit because like my mom naturally had that body too, where she, was dancing her whole life. She horseback ride for many, many years as well before she like focused on dancing professionally. And she was very thin and fit again, till about maybe a few years after she had me is when it changed. So I never had like a dysmorphia image about myself necessarily. I mean, like I still don't have any boobs because again, my mom didn't have any boobs until she gained weight. And I didn't have like any butt. So like those were kind of like, not so much the butt, but like the boobs, I'd be like, I don't have any boobs. Like I want a boob. I want a flatter stomach. So I had like the typical things, but I was in comparison, like super, super thin. I was like 98 pounds in high school.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And healthy for the doctors.
Fair, I was about the same.
Yeah.
I say it's wild, but I was right there with you.
Yeah. And I ate. I just super active and had a high metabolism. But my mom would always be like, you're not going to be like this forever. You're not going to be like this forever. You're not going to be like this forever. Like, make sure you don't get like me, say stuff like that. So when I stopped training consecutively and I quit gymnastics when I was 16. So I still had a couple years before going to college. And then the freshman 15 is like a real thing. I never thought it was going to happen to me, but it did. So that kind of thing, like also like, mom's like, I find myself telling this to like kids. I try not to. It's so unhealthy, but they're like, I can eat whatever I want. I was like, that's going to change. It's true. Like your body changes when you're getting older, even from like 3 to 5 years old, even 5 to 10. So, so yeah, I never really thought I'd like struggle with it. And I do think a lot of it is genetics. And I have put on weight and then I lost it somewhat unintentionally. It was great though. I am so sorry. Someone's texting me and I am a manager. So I just need to make sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. So where were we? Weight.
Yeah. Weight. You were mentioning how you unintentionally put on weight and unintentionally put off weight again. Mm-hmm. I don't know what point in your life you're talking about, but
Bermuda.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
By the way, those 3 months in Bermuda, it was 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Close to 4, but yeah.
Transformative.
Yeah, it was. And it was so nice. It was like that picture perfect, what everyone wants in their life when it comes to getting fit. It's like, I didn't really do anything. Like I was watching a little bit more what I ate in the sense of like portions and stuff because it's so expensive down there. And we had an unpaid internship. That's another thing I forgot to mention earlier. Like if it wasn't for my parents being able to support me through everything, like I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today in regards to like the field and stuff. Even in life probably. I'm sorry, I'm very fidgety. Like sensitive to tactile things. Okay.
They're high maintenance. That's okay. Keeps me busy.
I am high maintenance. I
really.
agree. But
No, you're not really. You're high maintenance, but you're self-sufficient.
thank you.
Mostly.
But I do. I'm aware that like you do a lot, and I take advantage of it. But when it does come to this tactile thing, it is like sensory stuff that I've learned within the last like year going to therapy. Anyway, whole other bucket of things. Yeah, it was so expensive, so we couldn't just be like spending money and like eating all that I wanted. And I was eating like 3 meals a day, which is normal, but like healthier portions. And I was a marine mammal training intern, and it was so active. It was fantastic. We were in and out of the water with the dolphins. We walked and bussed everywhere because it was a small island. I mean, and I just lost all the weight, and it was so nice. I remember coming. I was like, Dan, I look great. And I came back and immediately stayed with you for like 2 weeks because we hadn't seen each other in person for almost 4 months. And you were like,
I was like, I'm going to break you.
yeah, I remember you say more so than when you first met me in college. 'Cause I was really thin in college.
I mean,
too.
maybe, but I wouldn't have embraced you back then.
Right.
like
I guess
did.
it was a different context. Yeah. And then I gained the weight again, and then I gained even more weight, and now I struggle with my body image all the time. I call my stomach Java the Hutt. It's not healthy.
That's not.
It's not.
It's such an exaggeration.
Well.
It's such an exaggeration. To segue back to goals, do you have any goals regarding physical health?
Oh yeah, I do. I do want to lose more weight. I also want to get a better understanding if like my weight is more medical. I do think it has to do with genetics 100%. I'm curious if there's like some more medical sides to it. But I definitely do want to lose more weight, and I want to continue to put on more muscle. And I don't really have, I'm really trying to not have like an end goal in my weight. Like I want to reach this like weight specifically, but I want to see change, which I have been seeing change. And like, I guess you and your family have too. And I just want to keep getting stronger. So like I increase my weights. I do weightlifting, and I increase my weights. I'm doing that, and I'm feeling more energized, and that's what I want. Like I want to make sure I'm healthy in the sense of like when I get blood work done, that's all good too, but I also want to feel it too. And I have come to accept, and again, some days are better than others, but I really am accepting and being okay with like, you might not get that picture perfect image that you have in your head of what you need to look like, but that's okay, because women's bodies are first of all designed for incredible things, which is growing a human if you choose to do that. No one else can do that. Like that's freaking awesome. Thank you, God. So, my body is going to be different, and it is going to change. Like our hormones are so much more different and more complex than men's because of that, and because we menstruate and everything. So I'm learning to be okay with whatever I'm going to get to. But as long as I feel okay with it and I'm feeling strong and I am healthy, both mentally and like medically, then.
Great. And as we move from physical health to mental health, there's one extremely important dimension that spans both.
Yeah.
Sleep.
I love sleep.
You're good at it.
Yeah, I'm really good at it, and I always feel bad talking about it because so many people struggle with sleep, but I don't. Yeah, I don't, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. Just last night, we were, I was running a D&D session here in the house.
And you woke me up.
We got some rowdy friends. Woke you up at one point
Well,
because I had a calendar question?
Yeah, I didn't wake up because of the rowdiness. I want to clarify that.
Well, that's
Slept
the
through
point.
that.
That's the point. Yesterday, even despite all the rowdiness and me coming to wake you up because you're literally my calendar and I had to ask you a question.
Yeah, he had to ask me something for September. It's the beginning of August.
But your ability to sleep through
I fell right back asleep.
pretty much everything, and yet still wake up on time every day. I mean...
Well, I hear my alarms. I do want to clarify that.
Yeah. And you also got like 6 of them.
Yeah. I blame him for making me a snoozer. I never was.
I don't even snooze anymore.
Yeah, I know, but when we were younger. Yeah, I don't know. very fortunate about that. Like I'm the type of person where I'm like, okay, if I need to get 7 hours of sleep and I go to sleep at 11, I'll get my 7 hours of sleep and I have to wake up at 6. Like, yeah. Versus like most people have to do certain things. And this is definitely not good for you, but I can be on my phone and then just go to sleep most of the time,
I don't
which
know how
it's
you
not
do that.
good. It's not, sometimes I struggle, but like my struggle compared to others is not struggling. Like sometimes it takes me 20 minutes to fall asleep versus 5. Yeah.
Versus hours.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like for my typical, it's like 5. So like 20 is like a lot, but like that's nothing for the majority.
Oh, can I share something that happened just yesterday?
I don't know, but sure.
2 days ago?
Sure.
I had gone to bed at like 2 in the morning, and our dog graciously woke us up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Now,
I was selfish.
you're the one who can get up, walk around, do some stuff, and fall right back asleep again.
Yep.
If I wake up in the middle of the night,
You're up.
if I don't immediately just turn over and fall asleep again, I'm up.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
So what happened? I didn't want to get out of bed to take her and she had to poop. And I was selfish. But I knew that I should have been the one to go because, yeah, I would have gone downstairs, taken her out, come back, zonked out.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep talking, but I feel like we're like...
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good to move on to mental health. Everybody's mind is different, and the way everyone is kind of wired is different. I think so anyway.
For sure.
I have a more neurotypical mindset. You've got some other...
I'm definitely neurodivergent, and my therapist has pointed that out.
Care to share? To the extent you want to.
I was officially diagnosed with OCD 2023 that I've had for a very long time and didn't know. Kind of suspected, but not really. But learned that my OCD is more obsessive thoughts versus compulsions, which are like the rituals that you like do.
What does that look like? Or feel like for you?
It's a spiral in the head. And I'm literally just learning within this last month with like doing exercises with my therapist and like a workbook. It's like printed out papers, but it's like a workbook that it has to do with doubt. So like doubt takes over my thought process and it just spirals. And like a lot of women can understand that to the extent of like spiraling because we do that, but it's like on a whole different level. It like consumes your mind sometimes. So I was diagnosed of that, and you suspected that I had OCD for a while. You'd be like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I don't think so. Like I do things, but nah." But yeah, I did. I developed pretty severe anxiety as I got older, which I've learned I've always had. Again, just didn't know how to recognize it because it's very different compared to like the typical. Like some people you can tell like I'm on that category of like you wouldn't know I have anxiety, but it's all internal as well. Those are the two biggest mental health things that were like diagnosed.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier ADHD.
Oh yeah, I also have ADHD. Oh, well, okay, yeah. So as a kid I was diagnosed at 5 with ADD, which I guess it's not really like a thing anymore, but it's like the same thing. But yeah, like I have ADHD and I kind of forgot about that. And then my therapist was like, "You have it." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." It's not as severe as like some other people though. I also was officially diagnosed with dyslexia. That's not a mental disorder, but it's a learning disability when I was 5 as well.
And self-diagnosed with dyscalculia.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did this start? Like, have you worked through in therapy yet? Like, okay.
Childhood. Pretty much probably like toddler, like that young of an age. It first started with my relationship with my mom. We've been diving a lot into that, which I love her. She was a great mom. But she had her faults too. And we had a really good relationship, but we also had a really rocky and not so good relationship. And so a lot of that developed as a young age. And then I was severely, severely bullied. And I mean, like, there's so many people say that, and I know so many people have their, "Oh, you have a sob story about bullying," but I'm like, I really feel for people when they say bullying because I went through it for 4 years. Like, it was really bad. Like, I, like, ran out of classrooms crying. Okay, it was just the one time, but that was very impactful. So those were the two biggest things that we've been diving into, the everything that I deal with now mentally, and, like, self-image and self-worth and how people view me and should view me and this and that, and they're going to change their opinions of me. It all goes back to that. So like I really do love being a manager. I think I have a lot of strengths. I have a lot of weaknesses as well. But like when it comes to having to provide that feedback and manage people, especially teenagers, we have a lot of teenagers that go like, who wants to do doggy daycare for their whole life? You know what I mean? Not a lot of people. I do struggle with like my self-worth and my self-image because like how people perceive me is really important to me. I have learned I'm not so much as a people pleaser anymore as I used to be. I've definitely mostly overcome that, but like, you know, if like someone's upset with me or I know I have to do something that's not the easiest at work, like it really takes a toll on me.
So, I struggle with rejection and have for a long time. And one of the biggest defense mechanisms that I developed, especially in high school, was actually twofold. It was stoicism and gray man. Have you heard of like the idea of the gray man? The idea of the gray man is to become so ordinary that no one hardly even recognizes that you're there. So to be so unmemorable or so overlookable that you're basically unbullyable because people hardly even notice you. And that was something I implemented for a while until I met you and started coming out of my shell more. You have a way of cracking that shell. And I still have that fear of rejection. But...
Which I'm so proud of you for doing this.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do it.
Right.
Because I want to get over that, right? Really, it's getting over myself. It's getting over the thoughts that ruminate inside my head, and I'm sure you can relate to that. Often we're our own worst critic. And things are always worse in our heads than they are in reality.
Every time. Yeah, we are our worst self-critic. And that's where like the OCD doubt comes in of like it takes something from the past and tries to make that credible. It's not in the present of like what's happening here in the now, like my therapist is saying. So something that happened in the past, like that's the past. And you would always do that to me too when I go through my spirals and I'm just like word vomiting and talking to you. You would always like once you let me do that, and like take a second, you'd be like, okay, well, what's happening right now? And like be in the present. So, yeah.
So what about any goals in terms of mental health? And mental health doesn't necessarily just have to be mental well-being. Like for me, for mental health as well, some of my goals are overcoming that fear of rejection and being out there and being more sociable, as well as just trying to improve my mind. Because in high school and college, I would do a lot of math for fun because I was weird like that.
Yeah.
And now I like
You're
to
still weird and a nerd,
I'm still
but
weird.
I love you.
Yeah. But now I like to build up new skills and learn things like that. Like I'm getting into a little bit of videography. I was into 3D modeling for a while.
You still kind of are, but anyway.
Yeah. There's only so much time.
You have a lot that you want.
You can only have so many hobbies.
Well, you work from home, so you can't do that.
It helps.
It does.
Tremendously. Highly recommend. If you can.
Yeah. I was like, can't do that with my... I mean, you could if you opened up your own business
If
at
you
home,
can
but-
and if you want to. Because not everyone wants to.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any other goals that aren't necessarily mental health related, but still have to do with
Like
intellect?
mentally stimulating.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone always and I guess not everyone, like always want to learn new things. And I want to experience life. I love traveling. Which that was a bit of a thing earlier on in our relationship because he's a homebody. And don't get me wrong, I'm a homebody too. I love being home, but I love traveling as well. And I like to experience new things, and I think that really helps grow and develop the mind. So however if that's reading something, that's going somewhere, if that's experiencing something with someone, eating a new food, like I really think like that's really pivotal and important for mental health growth. And honestly, going back to like the stigma of mental health, like I do want a better handle of my anxiety and OCD and everything, which I have been, and you've been a great support and help in that. But just being able to recognize and manage it, and like it's okay. It's okay to have it. You're gonna be fine. If you spiral or you have a down moment, it's okay. You'll overcome it. So
you mentioned to me about a week ago, we were driving in the car together, and you mentioned to me that being around my family now, we're very close to my family physically.
And relationshiply.
Yeah. But we see them at least once a week pretty much. And you said that's been very healing for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I was a very, very energetic kid. And you met me when I was 18 and I was pretty much the same as a kid. It was only a few years after that I started calming down a bit. But yeah, very, very hyperactive. And, you know, my mom would always tell me, like, that's enough. Like, you need to stop. Or, like, that's too much, you know, stuff like that. So it almost felt like I would be reprimanded for being my authentic true self, which I didn't recognize at the time. And when I actually recognized that was when I started dating him. It actually was more so marriage, because I didn't get close to your parents until we were married. But yeah, just being my crazy, loud, wild self. They never shunned me. They never told me to stop. They love it. I'm sure it's annoying. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, they love it, but I'm sure it's annoying. But like, they truly accept me for it. And they're just like, oh, that's Alex. Like, she brightens up a room, and they like play along with it. And I started realizing it was healing. It was, because like I would sit there and be like, I can be myself and I'm not getting judged.
You know, I'm just thinking back to some of the times that I've been like, hey, that's enough. Like, tone it down, bring it down. I'm sorry if that ever came off as too strong. You know, that's not my intention.
Yeah.
And we're human, but...
Yeah, I mean, I've done it to others. I've done it to myself. I don't think I've ever taken it in a way that you were doing it. I think when you're like, hey, like, stop, essentially, like, I that's a part about being in a healthy relationship too, or just any relationship, you know. You have to sacrifice things for the other person. And like, when I can tell when it's like too much for the right reasons. And like, I physically just can't right now. So then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I think we're both good at that, at picking up each other's cues. And
very good at that.
if we're allowed to say we pride ourselves on in our relationship, it's our communication and ability to understand and communicate effectively, which is probably the number one skill or connection to have with your partner.
Yes. Coming from a household where communication wasn't as effective all the time between my parents, and then between me and my mom, and then past relationships. Yeah, that was always the easy part with you. And when I say easy, it wasn't easy. Like, we've had struggles, but it was always easy to communicate and overcome them. We do pride, and I think it's okay to pride ourselves in it, because we also have a lot of weaknesses, which we won't dive into this podcast. But yeah, we have weaknesses too, but communication is a strong thing.
Right.
And that was also kind of healing in my mental health and just life journey as well. Like, you again were really pivotal. Like, not only did you teach me to be patient, but I was like, oh, this is how you communicate healthily.
Well, good.
And it was a challenge to change. It wasn't easy. You can attest to like when we first were dating to where we are now.
Well, we just had a wide gap in our communication styles.
Yeah, that too.
And we had to learn how we communicate with each other and then find the middle ground.
Right.
Because it was not...
I'm confronting because that's how my mom was.
Exactly. The energy you would come in with and the reservidity.
Being reserved.
We'll make up that word. The reservidity that I came in with was very, very different. Mm-hmm. And for you, I'm sure it felt like you were attempting to negotiate with a brick wall.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And for me, at times, it felt like I was attempting to negotiate with a rowdy toddler.
Yeah.
And we had to find the middle ground.
Something that was really pivotal in our relationship, senior year of college, in your room, where we were fighting about who knows what. But it ended up becoming, we were fighting about fighting.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
We were having an argument about fighting. And it was important to have because Miss Glenda Wing, my lovely mother-in-law, who I actually really do love immensely, she's amazing, is a strong woman, and a strong woman in her faith, and intimidating and frightening. So you learned to just don't poke the bear. Don't rattle the beast. So then when I would come in and you wouldn't say anything, I'd get mad because I'm like, well, it's not that I wanted to fight. I'm just like, have an opinion, say something. And I remember being like, listen, I don't ever want you to feel like you can't have a say in this relationship or have a different opinion or whatnot. And if you do have a different opinion, it may piss me off and I may react in a certain way because I'm human and I'm selfish and I don't know what, but just because I'm reacting that way doesn't mean you can't feel like you can't do that. And then that's where I have to recognize I need to change as well. And it was really pivotal. And then that really, like, we had a really long night discussing that night.
Yeah.
And it's only gone uphill from there.
That really was a pivotal moment for us in our communication journey, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So spiritual health, what does that mean to you? And where did you, where did you come from spiritually to the point to where you are today? And that's a dense question, but.
Okay. Let's break it down. So spiritually, I have always been spiritual, always been religious, have been raised that way. Ever since a kid, my parents raised me to believe in God and Jesus and all of that. And I went to a Methodist-based high school from elementary to high school. So I always had that relationship, I guess, and understanding. And God definitely put something in my heart from a young age to like be drawn to him because I always wanted to do like the spiritual groups at school and stuff. But we didn't go to church or anything like that. One, because my mom didn't believe in going to church to have a relationship with God. Two, my dad is Romanian Orthodox and we didn't have a church at the time in Puerto Rico. I'm not quite sure. He would just say like, we don't have anywhere to go, so we're not going to go. So it wasn't until high school they were starting a missionary group in my high school, and I was in the 9th grade. And immediately I was like, I want to do that. And that's where it was a pivotal change. I did that for 4 years. My best friend's parents are Methodist and Methodist pastors, and she had a very big foundation in that. And yeah, the spiritual journey has been up and down from there. It's not perfect. I definitely could be better, but a fun fact, I'm Catholic now, which I never thought would come out of my mouth.
Yeah, you were kind of anti-Catholic at one point.
I was anti-Catholic even when I met you, and we were dating. We were dating, and I looked at him and I said, "Don't you think I'm going to change and become Catholic for you?" Like, just like that. And he was like...
But I was very pushy.
It's a sarcastic joke if you didn't get it. Yeah. I don't know. Give me more questions. What you want me to dive into?
Yeah, what did a prayer life look to you as a child or in high school?
As a child, really wasn't any type of prayer life. I had that, I want to say, typical image of like you kneel on the side of the bed and you like pray, you know what I mean? But like I like never did that.
For what it's worth, that was literally what my childhood prayer life was.
Yeah,
it was kneeling on the side of the bed with my parents my brother and I, and my parents on the other side of the bed.
Yeah.
All four of us just on the queen size bed.
It's such a like, I don't know,
iconic
typical
image.
thing. Yeah, I don't know if it is still today, but it was when we were kids.
Yeah.
My prayer life started developing more again when I was very into my missionary group and just started learning more about what is faith and what is God and what is prayer. So I was praying a decent amount, I would say.
What did your missionary group do?
We went to our first couple years, we would go up to a church in the mountains. So we lived in the San Juan area of Puerto Rico, which was like the metropolitan city area. And we went up to the mountains, like kind of like further southeast, I want to say, to Utuado and Jayuya, to a Methodist church there. And, you know, there was connections because like one of the ladies that was in charge of our group that worked at our school grew up in the area. So we would go and we would stay at the church and we would do community service. And then we would go to local public schools in the area and put on a presentation for the kids and like preach about God, but in a fun way. And we like would prepare for that and raise money for ourselves to go. And if you've heard of Master's Commission, again, it was very like non-denominational based, which is a lot of my foundation. Like even I was baptized Romanian Orthodox, but again, I didn't really grow up in it. So like my foundation was more Methodist and like non-denominational stuff. They'd come and like teach us like how to do skits and things like that. And then we would do like skits and presentations at school too. So that's pretty much what it was. And really developing a community of people who were faith oriented, even though our school was faith oriented because we had chapel every other week and stuff like that, you know, just really making it more and bringing people to God. So that's what we did. And then the last 2 years, the 1 year I wasn't able to go, even though I was still part of the group, we went to Vieques, which is an island of Puerto Rico, to do the same thing, but in that little island off of Puerto Rico.
Nice.
It was fun and it was pivotal. Yeah, I miss them. Relationships didn't really stay in touch as much, but it happens.
Yeah. And then in college, you started being more open to Catholicism because you started coming with me to Mass.
I guess you can call it open. I don't know if I was open to it. It was more so, this is really important to you, so I'm going to support you in that and respect you in that. And then you supported and respected me by going to a Methodist place. We would do church twice on Sundays. Yeah, it was so funny because I remember applying again, and they're like, you don't have to be Catholic to come to the Catholic University. And I was like, okay, good. I did not have good experiences with Catholics growing up at all. Like, I had people tell me Catholicism is the best religion. And I would be very confused because that was when I was like in my peak, like high school, like really delving into my faith. And I was like, well, I don't think so. And then I'd be like, you're going to hell because you're not Catholic. And I was like, well, I believe in God and I pray and I believe to be a good person. And I do this, and that. And I love Jesus and, you know, and I don't understand. So they definitely gave me a negative image and I would talk really bad about the Catholics. I was like, oh, those Catholics. I went to a few masses with friends, but nothing. And then I went to Gannon and didn't want anything to do with it until I met you. And again, always respected it because my parents taught me to respect, even though I may have been thinking something different in my head. But trying to be like, okay, just be polite, like respect, like everyone has a right to believe in what they want to believe, which was also why I was like so upset when they were like, and I was like, but I did not.
Yeah, stop bringing me down.
Yeah. So then when we started dating, you know, I challenged you a lot. A lot. I wanted him to not be Catholic anymore. But you stood your ground in a very polite, respectful, healthy way. And it was 10 years, but little by little, with the help of Haley as well. All people that were put in my life were transformative. And I decided I wanted to become Catholic because I think it's amazing. It's a beautiful faith. So much foundation in faith, and yeah.
Yeah, and you were officially received into the Catholic Church just a few months ago.
Just a few months ago in Easter, April of 2025.
How exciting.
It was so exciting, and it was so beautiful.
You know what's funny?
What?
Almost all of our friends are Catholic.
Now, yeah. Which is, I think, another reason why God wanted us to come back here.
Yeah.
To this area, which is where Dan grew up.
But we really have made some really fantastic friends since we've come back and moved into this area. And although we are the oldest in our friend group,
which is not, well, go ahead.
It wasn't your experience. It was my experience in my life.
It was never my experience growing up.
Yeah, but
yeah,
we are the
like
oldest.
5, 6 years.
It feels like a privilege
Yeah.
to be in that position.
Yes. We always prayed ever since we were little ducklings in a relationship before engagement, before marriage, but especially when we became engaged in marriage, like, God, may you use us to be an example of like what it means to be in a loving, healthy marriage with you being centered. And may we be good examples and inspirations and motivations and models and like all of that stuff. And it's happening right now. And we talk about that frequently. We're like, wow, okay, we prayed for it. Now we have to live up for it, because if you pray for something, a lot of it will be no, but whatever is meant to be and right for you, and if you've been praying for it, God's going to give it to you, and now it's your turn to uphold that.
Yeah. Do your best, and God will do the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we try to implement that. Mm-hmm. So, as we wrap this up, this is the point where I want to say, a year from now, when we look back on this, this is the section that we'll look on and be like, oh, this is our summary. This is our snapshot in time. What goals do we want to look at for like a year from now? Where do we want to be? What do we want to be different?
It's so stressful because I feel like I need to have the right answer, but it's not like right or wrong, which is always a thing in life and something I tackle with in therapy. But I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, small things. Doesn't have to be anything big.
I want to be happy. Oh, it'd be really great if we dealt with everything in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
That is actually a goal.
Didn't even touch on that.
We didn't even.
But
yeah. That'd be nice. Come back for further updates, I guess.
Yep.
I would love to keep up with a consistent workout routine for physical.
Okay.
Because I definitely will get into like patterns and habits of doing it for several months and kind of like go off for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And that happened last year when I did Sydney's 2024 Summertime Fine. I was like bam, bam, bam for the 3 months, and then like that it was done. And then I was pretty consistent, like working out like 3 or 4 times a week. But then it'd be like a few weeks off and then come back in, maybe a month off and come back. Like I want it to just be continuous because like it's not only has it been so good for my physical health, it's so good for my mental health. Like I am a morning workout person through and through, and I kind of always knew that for a while since college, or like after college. So like getting up in the morning to work out, I thought I'd hate it before work. Like I didn't do it last year, but it was so. I found myself loving doing it after work, but I love it even more now. So I think it really sets my mind. And then we pray together. We pray the rosary almost every morning together. Like it's just been a really good routine. So keeping up that routine would be great. And I want to see changes. Like hopefully I can see changes for that. And I'm trying not to put pressure on myself because I have been seeing changes. And like however those changes are when they come, it's fine. Mental health. I really am trying to learn through therapy how to better connect with my emotions. Because I'm very good about talking about things and being honest. But when it comes to really sitting and connecting with them, I don't. Because I've been taught to shove them away. Don't talk about them. Don't feel them. Or if I did feel them, they'd be too much and they'd be too big and I'd be told to not, like as a kid.
They'd start leaking out physically. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or like just be like, I'm very, very happy right now. It's like, it's too much. You don't have to be that excited right now. You don't have to cry for that right now. So it's like, oh, okay, well, in order for mom to be happy, I have to do this.
I see.
Yeah. So like that's like been a bit of a struggle with like therapy and overcoming that. So it'd be good to see progress with that. Spiritual health. I really want to be more involved in being a leader of faith. So we've talked about like doing OCIA together, which we actually have a meeting for that on Sunday. And like continuing to help lead retreats and just continuing to strengthen my knowledge in the Catholic faith and like what faith is for me and how can I implement that in my life and encourage others to get there. Okay. And maybe not just like by speaking, but like what I say and do and act, especially at work as well, which is like the biggest challenge. Like I don't necessarily need to talk about Jesus and God all the time at work because unfortunately it's kind of frowned upon in our culture in the States. But okay, how can I model that?
Yes. Yeah. That's excellent. Good stuff. Let's wrap up with this.
Okay.
If you had one piece of advice you could give yourself like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, or if you could give yourself a few pieces of advice, what would it be?
It's okay to not be okay. God truly does have something better in store for you. And you just have to let it happen and not ignore it and refuse to let it happen. Like quitting my job in Six Flags. And saying goodbye to a field that I put that as my identity. But my identity is not my work. My identity is who I am as a person and a child of God.
Thanks, babe, for coming out here. Thanks for making the trip all the way to my room.
All the way to your room from upstairs. That's his commute. It extended like, how did you say when we used to live in an apartment and it was like 10 steps and now it's 30?
Yeah, my commute like doubled. It tripled.
It did. And my commute shortened.
Right. Yeah, but thank you for being my first guest on the podcast.
It was fun.
It was.
Listen to Living with Intentions. No.
Oh, you don't have to shout it out.
No, Living with Intention.
I mean, they're already on the channel.
He also has a YouTube channel, which is so this is
It's going to be the same
I
channel.
know. I'm so proud of him and excited. It's so cool. Even if it's just for us. I love it. You're like, can we wrap this up?
Yeah, we got to wrap it up.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Woo!
You did it.
We did it.
Nice.
That was a lot of fun.
It was.
I have to pee. I realized. I had to pee.